What is up, guys? Welcome back, finally, to another episode of Boleros. The Sultan of Sando, Gab here with the
Naka-Lakers
man, the
Cup
myth,
ka.
the Lakers Cup, of course, with the man, the myth, the
Episode
legend
10.
himself, Mr. Maui Yap, and the master of the mustache. Yan, may nickname na ako sa'yo, Sammy. The master of the mustache, Mr. Sam Santos. What's up, guys? Medyo matagal since our last episode, since I just got back from Los Angeles, California, and was
Malas
able
daw
to
ng
watch.
LA, sabi ni Sam.
Guys, by the way, nung nanood siya nung Game 1 tambak, the day he flew away, panalo. Yun lang masasabi ko. The day he flew away,
ng
Game
Los
2,
Angeles
panalo.
Lakers. I just want to say, I paid so much money for those tickets. They were so damn expensive. And you decide to lose the day
Badly.
I watch your game.
Badly.
Oh my God. LeBron had a bad game. Si Luka lang yung nag-show up ng Game 1. I was so excited. I thought it was gonna be one of the best days of my life. Turned out to be not so good dahil natalo ang Lakers. But I'm wearing yellow and purple and gold because tomorrow Game 3. So let's go Lakers. Dapat manalo kayo. You can't go down 2-1 against the Timberwolves. So anyway, for our episode today, as you see from the title, we are going to preview Pinoy Liga, one of the bigger off-season tournaments. As usual, they will have a ton of games. But for now, there are only 4 teams. Well, 5 if you count the 2 UP teams that are participating in the Pinoy Liga Collegiate Cup. So we'll be talking about the UP Fighting Maroons, the NU Bulldogs, the Adamson Falcons, and the UST Growling Tigers, and what we're watching for in the Pinoy Liga Cup. So let's start with the defending champions, the UP Fighting Maroons. What are we watching for the UP Fighting Maroons? Sammy, let's hear. You're the one in maroon. What are you watching for UP? They're fielding 2 teams. Crazily enough, they're fielding 2 teams. Not unlike yung last year na parang nag-alternate sila, diba? Ngayon, they're actually fielding 2 teams. Sammy, what are you watching for?
Siguro for me, the spot that I'm going to look at the most would be the center spot. Like, which center will stand out the most? Fielding 2 teams is, I think, a smart move for UP. If you have a team that's that deep and that talented, why not field 2 teams? Kasi at least you get to see everyone gets more playing time, diba? Yun yung problem nila is you don't get to test these guys kung if they don't get to play. So what I'm looking out for is that center spot, and you see a lot of familiar names there. Obviously, he split yung teams. I think like I think hindi pa nila pinapost pero meron tayong sneak peek from Pinoy Liga. So I think Gani Stevens is on one team, si Alter is on another team. So that's interesting. Magkahiwalay sila. I see like a bunch of their FSAs also are split. So it would be a good test for UP to see sino yung isa-slot in nila dun sa center spot na yun. So, I think the one position that I would be looking at would be the center spot.
Interesting point, because I had the same thing that I'm watching for the UP Fighting Maroons. Not just center spot, but FSA watch for the UP Fighting Maroons. You know, Maui, I think you came under fire nung I think a few episodes ago, sinabi mo na maybe UP was leading towards Decachi Odoro. Tapos sinabi ng mga UP fans, hindi nyo pa napanood si Francis Noruca. So we're definitely watching the FSAs. Is Francis Noruca as good as advertised by the UP community?
That's true. I'm curious too.
Is Decachi Ododo does he still have a shot to be the FSA for season 88? Is he gonna be just pulled back into Team B? There for now, I don't think there's a sure thing that it's gonna be si Noruca, it's gonna be si Udodo who's gonna be the FSA for season 88. But definitely the center slot. No, I mean QMB is gone, big hole to fill. We know that that Alter was serviceable and Gani Stevens was serviceable for the preseason last year. So who are they gonna go to? It'll be interesting to see. Or will they go with a combination again of just four guys, including Seven Kagate, who I'm not sure is even gonna make the lineup. Honestly, si Seven Kagate, the fact that he's still here is just so weird to me. I don't think there's spot for him for any minutes on this UP team. But yeah, the center spot's gonna be pretty interesting to watch because who can separate themselves? Is it gonna be Noruka, Ododo, Stevens, Alter, Gagate? May improvement pa si Gagate? Does he have a shot? Si Alter, is he gonna be riding the bench again for this coming season? Who knows? Maui, what are you watching for the UP Fighting Maroons?
Actually, we always talk about on the podcast, diba, two very important positions when you talk about UAAP basketball, diba? We talk about that FSA / big man I say / big man kasi the past few seasons we've had QMB, we've had Mike Phillips, diba, mga non-FSAs who've been very effective against the other centers. But if you were to ask me, I would talk about the most exciting position in basketball for me. It's the point guard slot, diba? It's gonna be Ray Remogat. I want to see how UP will fare with Ray Remogat leading the helm. Yung sneak peek sa atin, si Sam was mentioning, the first team will be led by Remogat, the second team will be led by Felicilda, and I think si Fortea is also in the second team. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Will UP experiment and start si Felicilda, or will we see Remogat eventually sa UAAP season, diba? I think having two lineups is the right way to go kasi yung last season, diba? You want as many reps as you can get in the preseason, and this is not against these are against teams from the NCAA and the UAAP and top tier teams from the other leagues, diba? So very good practice. I like the strategy by UP. I like how I have to commend Pinoy Liga. 'Di ba? Kasi Pinoy Liga has been very flexible in terms of allowing players to play in their league, 'di ba? Even players who are not eligible for the coming season. I think si Payosing is part of team 1 for UP. But I'm excited to see si Remogat, 'di ba? Kasi of all the murmurs, all the buzz I've been hearing behind the scenes I've heard that he was so dominant last off-season that teams from the KBL were looking at him. Diba? UP were scared that maybe he wouldn't be here. And lo and behold, he's still here. And I'm excited to see how he does in a championship caliber team. Diba? Kasi not all star players transition pretty well when you play in a system, when you play in a team that you're not the center point or you're not the focal point, diba, of the offense. So I'm excited to see yung passing niya. I'm excited to see yung electric scoring niya, driving to the basket, shooting long bombs. So yeah, basically that. And I think yung UP talaga, this is the open tryouts. This is the official open tryouts.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a good way to put it.
For UP, like diba?
3 or 4 slots in contention, diba?
Or maybe we see somebody surprise us, diba? And snatch a slot from another player. I don't know. Maybe that could be the case, diba? Looking at the list, there are some unfamiliar names, diba? Maybe baka hugot to ng UP and somebody will surprise us. I think that's what I'm looking forward to, diba? In Pinoy Liga, not just with UP. Really, the players that will surprise, the players that will break out. But you're right. It's really for UP. I think it boils down to that center slot and that point guard slot for next season. Very huge shoes to fill, diba? Losing Kagulangan and QMB, who both were, I believe, the MVPs from last season for UP.
That's a nice last point, Maui, kasi yun yung isa pang thing to watch out for UP. For me, sino manggugulat? I do remember 2 off seasons ago nagulat ako kay Chico Briones because there was little to no fanfare about his commitment to UP. Then suddenly he was playing, I think, in Ball Out and then in Pinoy Liga, and suddenly we were all like, "Wow, who's this guy?"
He was top
Why does
scoring if I
Yeah, he
remember
was top
correctly.
scoring
Like
in some
top scorer pa
games,
siya. Oo.
shooting the lights out, had a good shooting stroke, right? And we were all like, "Wow, UP got someone," right? Last offseason, I do remember first game of UP. I'm like, "Who is this Denzel Walker? Wow, 6'4" point guard, can defend like crazy, long, can jump out of the building. Who is this guy?" So I'm watching UP just to see uh, which of these unknown prospects is gonna surprise. They recruited someone from Mindanao. I think si Poyos, RV Poyos. I think he played in Davao. Um, Joshua Coronel. I think we're finally gonna see him play. Hopefully.
So I had him as my honorable mention dun sa someone I was looking out for. I think I picked him last year na player I was most excited to watch for UP. I just did not want to mention him anymore because baka nako-curse ko siya eh. Na-injure siya pag pinag-uusapan ko. So, but I am like hoping that this guy gets to play finally kasi it's been what, 2 years? 2 years since he joined. So, sana makalaro na siya and sana he stays healthy.
And this is pretty important, Sammy, for UP kasi a lot of their backcourt players are graduating after season 88. So there are minutes available for season 89. Not necessarily for season 88. I think their perimeter rotation is locked and loaded already. Maybe a few minutes to some guys here and there, but I think their perimeter rotation is locked and loaded already. Season 89 talaga ang labanan dito eh. For guys like Payosing, Poyos, Briones, he's still there. Joshua Coronel, L.A. Andres, who's been injured for a long
Another
period of
guy
time.
who's always injured. Oo nga.
Yep. Another guy who's been in the sidelines for a long period of time. We do want to watch what they can bring. If they are actually really skilled, can they perform on the court? Can they have certain skills that are pretty valuable? That's important because UP now is look to the future mode because mawawala yung main core guys nila, Alarcon, Abadiano, Fortea, Felicilda, Torres. They're all graduating after season 88. So it's gonna be essentially a new team for season 89, and this is where it starts. You wanna see who among these new prospects can actually separate themselves. We all know, well, most probably or dapat si Remoga still gonna be there for season 89. So was Lopez. So maybe they're the main guns, but you never know who will leave you for the pros. So that you definitely watching out for the unknowns or the guys who have been out for so long because they can surprise. Again, sino magugulat from UP? Maui, you're gonna say something.
Yeah, I just have to say also yung honorable mention ko, I think si Jacob Baila. Diba? With all the hype that's been there from last season. We saw him as a do-it-all player last season. I think he did pretty well in one of the Adidas camps.
Adidas camp.
Global camps. And I'm excited to see yung if he can raise yung ceiling niya, 'di ba? Kasi he's a guy to monitor for Gilas also, 'di ba? We love his size. We love how he has the intangibles, 'di ba? He basically does everything on the floor and I'm excited to see yung development niya in year 2. Yun.
Very good point. Now let's move on to a team that I think is pretty interesting. Given the lineup that was announced for the Pinoy Liga Collegiate Cup, the NU Bulldogs. And I will start since I'm wearing yellow. I can't believe we're doing this again, but we are on FSA watch for the NU Bulldogs for the second straight off season.
I agree.
They are in their lineup. They have 3 FSAs. So Omar John has been playing in Asia Basket and he's been playing really well. Actually, one of the more pleasant surprises from the off season so far. It's been Omar John. He's been balling out, but I don't think that's going to be enough because the biggest reveal, Collins Akowe, is in the lineup for the NU Bulldogs in the Pinoy Liga Collegiate Cup. We've been wondering where Colin Sakoe will be going. There was an article that he's had no college offers from any other school. He's still waiting. Looks like he's sticking to NU for now. He's there in the lineup. I want to see him play with the seniors team. I want to see him play against college level athletes. We all know that he dominated in the juniors division, but that was mainly, I think, because he was the biggest guy there, and no one can match up to his size. Now that he's being matched up to players who are the same size as him, how will he fare? He became huge in his grade 12 season with NU. If you watched him last in the recently concluded boys division in the UAAP.
Ginaya si Omar Jan.
Yep. He was huge. Mo Diazana is also in the lineup. Now, I don't think he is going well. Technically, kaya naman. It's been more than 6 months since he was in September. He got injured, so that's already 6 months. Dapat kaya na yung makabalik ni Mo Diazana. But I won't be surprised if he doesn't play yet. Maybe he's still in the process of recovering from his ACL. But if he does play, it also you won't be surprising. Again, it's been 6+ months already since he tore his ACL, so maybe he's there. So those are 3 FSAs that we are watching for the NU Bulldogs. Ako, honestly, akala ko kay Omar Jan na to given how he's been playing sa Asia Basket But now, I'm not so sure anymore kung kay Omar Jan talaga ibibigay yung FSA spot for Season 8A. Maui-san, your thoughts?
I can't believe, di ba? Like you mentioned, I can't believe we're in the same boat. 1 season after. Diragdag lang si Colin Sakoe into the fold. Maybe it's Omar Jan's to lose. Di ba? As you mentioned, si Colin Sakoe is unproven. Si Diazana had a nasty injury last September. We don't know when he's actually coming back and if he's 100% when he comes back. I guess I'm happy for Omar Jan, di ba? Kasi he gets the opportunity to prove also, di ba, that he belongs. And last we saw kasi him in the UAAP was really manhandled by Malik Diouf. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I think that's the biggest storyline for NU. And I think the second thing that we have to look at for NU is how will the new recruits fare. I think maraming announcements that they've recruited players, including from their juniors division. I'm excited to see yung point guard slot also, much like UP, who will lead the helm. I don't think it should be a three-man point guard rotation. I think at best it should be two players to provide consistency, diba, and stability to your team. Who will be the odd man out from Steve Nash, Humamoy, or Tybal Garcia? Or will there be another point guard that will surprise us for NU? Maybe Coach Jeff doesn't like the three-headed small minions, diba, for NU. But yeah, basically this is the same team. Diba? Most of the players coming back are gonna get bulk of the minutes. So will Jolo Manansala and Jake Figueroa raise their ceiling for their pro careers, diba? I think that it's their last season, both of them. So that's another thing to watch out for. Will we not see Jake Figueroa play 4 and si Manansala play 4 anymore this season if they get their FSAs? But I'm hoping NU does pretty well this off-season kasi last season was pretty tough for the NU community. What a start to the season, diba? Losing your FSA, diba? And they ended naman pretty well when they defeated UP and LaSalle in the second round.
The only
I think
team
that
to beat
the only
UP
team,
and LaSalle.
the whole from the whole pack to beat the top tier teams, top basically UP and LaSalle from last season. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they can build up momentum from there. I think it's gonna be which FSA will fit well with the other players, because we know that the other players, we know what the other players bring, diba? So it's, will they go with the stable Omar Jan? Will they go with a higher ceiling Mo Diazana, who's questionable still with health, or will they go with the hometown kid, with Colin Sakowe for next season. I think that's the biggest storyline. Sam?
I agree 100%. FSA watch tayo ulit sa NU. I think this Colin Sakowe thing should be a bigger discussion kasi it was never announced, 'di ba? Like there was no Navs post about it. Kahit I don't know, I was checking spin, I was checking tiebreaker, wala eh. And just si Pinoy Liga broke the news basically to us by posting it as part of NU's roster. So I'm not just FSA watch. I'm waiting for that like first game of NU and then them fielding Collins Akowe. Kasi if they field Collins Akowe, then maybe like mas sigurado na ako na wow, so Collins Akowe is going to NU, and that gives NU 3 super solid options at FSA. Like kahit sino piliin mo doon, that's a like solid FSA lineup. You're not gonna have the worst FSA. Like Ateneo would have loved any one of those 3 guys from last year. I'm pretty sure about that. So that's what I'm watching out for. I hope NU flexes and plays Colin Sakowe the first game just to show to everyone this guy that everybody's trying to get. We heard a lot of schools were supposedly wanted to get Colin Sakowe for their seniors team. Then NU flex and show him off. He's ours. Lalo na ngayon, 'di ba? In a time where we're hearing news about star players moving from one team to another, here's NU flexing na parang he didn't even bother listening to other teams.
The Boleros
He's
curse.
going with us.
Hindi pa sure yan.
Boleros curse.
Sam,
So, ano.
hindi pa sure yan kahit maglaro sa Pinoy Liga.
Yun nga pero
Remember Mason Amos?
That's true. Pero, it's a flex. Baka naman, eto Maui, baka naman si Collins Akowe gusto magpa-interview sa atin, di ba? So, Collins Akowe, come on to the show. Kung gusto mo magpa-interview para tumaas yung chances na lumipat ka. But, I think it's that one for me. Anything else? I think sa guards, Tebul Garcia, I really liked his game nung high school. So, I want to see how he develops in his second year. Hopefully, he gets more playing time.
Ako, I'm with Maui. I'm watching the new recruits, especially the Bullpups. There are a lot of Bullpups who have not yet played in the seniors division for NU. And this is a team that, as Maui said, they're essentially complete. I think si Patrick Yu lang ang main rotation guy na nawala sa NU. So, who among the new guys can actually crack the rotation? I've liked what I've seen from Miguel Palanca. He was one of their main guys in the recent finals run in the boys division. Macbac Alfanta, huge dude, huge wing player. He's here in the lineup. Can he actually crack the rotation? This is also some future watch for NU. We talked about this. They're doing the 2 timelines thing. They have guys who have been there for a long period of time, but there are guys who are coming on. There are guys who are there for the long term now. Now since the juniors days. Macmac Alfanta, si Pervy Timbang has been there as was in the juniors team like 2 years ago. He has not suited up yet for the seniors division.
Si Vince Reyes.
Solomo.
From
Vince
Adamson din.
Reyes. Yep. Let's see how he's developed. Can he transition into a wing player? He can't play a big man. I mean, he's too small to do that. So he has to play in the wing. Jedrick Solomon recently committed to the NU Bulldogs. Another guy, 6'8", tall guy. Let's see if he can get some minutes behind guys like Palacelo and Persiano. We'll see, no? There are a lot of young guys on this NU roster. None are assured minutes because there are still a lot of players on this NU team. We talk about sila Paul Francisco, Jelo Santiago. Ang dami pa. Sobrang daming players ng NU. So, this is one
mga
team.
Pinoy Liga stars yun, Gab,
Yes!
Sila Paul Francisco.
Diba? Si Paul Francisco was a Pinoy Liga legend. Remember when they beat UP 2 seasons ago? So, I'm excited to watch this NU team. There's a lot of sure things. There's also a lot of question marks. Now let's move
I was gonna
on.
I
Okay,
was
go ahead.
sorry
Sige,
before you move on. I was gonna say basketball ba pinag-uusapan mo, Gab, o volleyball? Kasi Santiago tapos Solomon eh, di ba? So parang volleyball ata pinag-uusapan mo eh.
Baka nga both have extremely talented sisters in volleyball, legends. Anyway, let's move on to the Adamson Soaring Falcons, and I'm gonna start with Sammy, the Adamson hater. You always down on the Adamson Falcons.
The
What are you
Adamson
watching
doubter.
for? The Adamson,
The
fine,
Adamson
doubter.
doubter.
The Adamson doubter. What are you watching for the Adamson Soaring Falcons?
Ron Jones daw.
Naubo tuloy ako, Maui. Naubo ako sa'yo. Similar to yung picks niya sa NU, I am very happy for Adamson because they got 7 out of 7. Tama ba? 7 out of 7 high school recruits are joining their seniors team. So, this is the future for Adamson. I think just like NU, marami na rin silang medyo older guys in the team. So, something, and knowing si Coach Nash Racela, who prefers to play like the newer guys, experiment with lineups, I'm expecting a lot of like the new guys and the juniors, the boys team players to play a lot in the preseason ngayong Pinoy Liga. So those are the guys that I'm watching out for. And I'm curious to see who will top score for Adamson because if you were saying kanina you're looking for guys that would surprise sa UP, that's what I'm looking for here in Adamson. Because for me, the one guy that really surprised me last season na parang dahu, sino yan? Was AJ Franzman. And he was able to translate that into the season. Diba? He's like what? The second leading scorer of Adamson, maybe third leading scorer of Adamson nung season, last season. So I'm looking at who's top scoring for Adamson because most probably maybe Coach Nash Racela will let that person play come season 88.
Maui, what are you watching for Adamson?
I think with Adamson, the biggest question always, for me, every offseason is who could be that ceiling raiser. Diba? Kasi Adamson has been consistently proving us wrong. Me and Sammy. Every offseason, diba? They've been underlooked, but they eventually end up having that playoff to get to the Final Four in the UAAP. Even during yung last season when I think it was one of the most competitive seasons outside of LaSalle and UP. I think that's the biggest question for Adamson. How will the recruits pan out? Both from the juniors division and some Phil-Ams and some other players that Coach Nas has recruited, diba? Kasi much like the other teams, they have to start preparing for the future, diba? They're gonna lose Manzano soon. I think another question is will they fill the same FSA? Kasi we haven't seen yung official lineup nila for Pinoy Liga. Do they have other options for FSA and big man come next season? Will the recruits really pan out? I think that's the main thing for Adamson, finding players who can contribute right away. Kasi you want to maximize having Manzano still in the lineup, having the other players still in the lineup. But I won't doubt any team Coach Nash coaches, diba? Whatever lineup he has, whether he loses the top players, they still manage to find a way despite it all, diba? So I think what I'm most looking forward to is kaya ba nalang erase yung ceiling? Can they be a top 2 team in the UAAP, or can they not only be a play-in team in the UAAP and
Can
be a solid Final Four?
Bulls. Yun eh.
I think sa comment section natin maraming natuwa dun sa comparison mo, Gab, ng Adamson with Chicago.
Perfect eh.
Yeah.
Na every year nasa play-in sila.
Every year nasa play-in.
Every year.
So I think that's the biggest thing for Adamson. Can they develop more players to be more contributors? I think I will look at players who have good outside shooting. Diba? Kasi during the previous season, Adamson racked up a lot of three-pointers. Diba? I'm still surprised last season na si Noah Pacquiao didn't make the lineup. So, let's see if he can make a better case. This Pinoy Liga Cup, he had a couple of games where he hit multiple three-pointers last season. And I would have to agree with Sammy. Kasi another way to raise your ceiling is if your star or your main gun elevates their game. And I think si AJ Franzman and maybe si Mantua has the biggest ceiling to bring to Adamson. And lastly, not as a joke, but I'm waiting to see if the Run Zone twins are still gonna play for this season. One of them.
Maui. Si Cade ata is still eligible.
Diba? So maybe gulat niya tayo. Adamson has been proving us wrong. Maybe this is the season that they can make that mark. And I'm just hopeful for all other teams. Hopefully, mga recruits, especially yung Phil-Ams, diba, na na-hype ng social media, they pan out. Diba? Hindi yung every recruitment na Phil-Am, feeling natin the next Mike Cortez. Diba? But it doesn't pan out. I revealed my age and but yeah, hopefully we get more good players. Diba? Kasi the higher the level of play is elevated will be good for everybody. And it's one of the reasons why we believe, I think I can speak for you too, we believe that the UAAP should never consider removing that FSA slot. Yeah.
Actually, the both of you guys hit on my points for the Adamson Falcons. One, and pretty underrated, they are also on FSA watch. I don't know if I know si OJ Ojorike has been their FSA and I think he's still with the team. He's still gonna want to be the candidates. But have you guys watched their other FSA? Si Jonah Precious? Oh, he's good. I think he's pretty decent. He played in their double overtime game against the NU Bulldogs in Asia Basket. I like what I saw. I think he has a higher offensive ceiling than OJ and their other FSAC Alugay. So I think there's an underrated FSA watch for the Adamson Falcons. We've all talked about how OJ is a very stable defensive presence. Practically
one of the leading shot blockers.
Yep. He's practically a zero on the offensive end. You know, he can't make any shots both from the free throw line and at the rim. Kahit nga dunks he misses. So I think he knows what he is. He's a rebounder and a shot blocker. But they need sabi mo nga, Maui, they need a ceiling raiser. And I think they have found someone in Jonah Precious. I think who's been playing in their Team B for quite some time already. I think he can provide that offensive ceiling without sacrificing much of the defense. So, to all UAAP fans and to the Adamson followers there, what's for Jonah Precious? I legit like it's just one game that I watched him play.
You heard it from the Adamson Whisperer.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Sabi nga ni Maui, last year na ni Cedric Manzano. Now is the time to go to take the risk.
All in.
Go all in na. So, legit an FSA watch for the Adamson Falcons. And yung my other point, definitely a ceiling raiser, meaning star power. We saw last season, sabi mo nga Sam, who's gonna be the leading scorer, and for most of the Pinoy Liga Cup last year, it was Matt Erolon. And that's where we gained an idea na parang, hey, this guy is gonna be one of their lead playmakers. And it happened in the season. And I think Coach Nash saw that in him as well, which is why he gave him the ball the entire Pinoy Liga Collegiate Cup. The ball was in Matthew Erolon's hands, and he showed that he could scale up his game, be more than just a shooter. Yun ang hinahanap ko from the other guys. Who from the 7 guys from the juniors o Sammy? Sino sa kanila yung kaya mag-scale up and be more than just shooters, be more than just one-dimensional players, diba? Can a guy like Manu Anabo elevate his game to be more than a shooter? Diba? Yun ang hinaharap natin sa Adamson because we all know that they're good defensively. We all know that they're good enough to make the Final Four, but again, same story, past few seasons. Can they elevate themselves into championship contender status? We don't know yet. That is very interesting to watch for the Pinoy Liga Cup. If they're still, in low-scoring games and no one has stood out aside from the Montebons, the Fransumans, and the Erolons, it's probably going to be the same old story for Adamson in this upcoming season 8-8. Chicago Bulls, baby. The Chicago Bulls of the UAAP. Mukhang yun yung kanilang destiny, but I hope not. I hope someone can raise their ceiling. Okay, the last team confirmed for the Pinoy Liga Cup. Again, this is confirmed. The other teams have not confirmed yet for the Pinoy Liga Cup, which is why we're not discussing them here. It's the UST Growling Tigers, who won, I think, the Global Invitational Cup of Pinoy Liga a couple of months ago. Maui, what are you looking forward to for the UST Growling Tigers?
FSA. Diba? We've been talking about the FSA slot the whole episode.
My
for
FSA
other
wants
teams.
back UST. They only have one.
I don't know. Is it gonna be Peter Osang, diba, for UST? There were rumblings the past few weeks na si Colin Sacowe, somebody that UST is targeting. So much like last season, will they surprise us with other FSA options? Diba? I think they're scrambling to find a replacement. I think that's a very big blow for UST, diba? Having that stable FSA for back-to-back seasons at the very least, sana, diba, could have really raised their ceiling come season 88. But another player I'm looking forward to watch si Jello Crisostomo. Diba, Christian Maneta graduated, so can he scale up now that he's gonna get more minutes, more consistent minutes? I think last season he was very inconsistent. He had games where he looked like he was about to break out, and then games where he disappeared. I think yung some of their off-season games, he's shooting more three-pointers. So I'm excited to see yung development niya. Kasi we know what we can expect with Padrigao. We know what we can expect with Cabanero, diba? They're sure things for season 88 for UST. Now it's all about, much like Adamson, it's gonna be all about raising that ceiling. Becoming a Final Four team was their first target. Now it's raising that UAAP crown. Can they be that team come season 88? If you asked me in the early part in the off season, I would have said yes. But now that they've lost their FSA, I don't know. For next season, will Nick Cabanero unleash a different monster now that he's gonna be playing his final season for UST? Will Fortsky Padrigao fare better also come season number 2? Diba kasi he was also very inconsistent, especially in his scoring the previous season. So I think that's my biggest storylines when it comes to UST. I'm hoping that they can reach their ceiling. Kasi diba we want the UAAP to be competitive, and if UST fails to raise their ceiling, maybe we're looking at another season where we will be tracking LaSalle and UP as the only championship contenders.
Sam, what are you watching for UST?
Yeah, I agree with Maui, no. Yung FSA is a big question for them, but for me, siguro one thing that I will ano tawag mo dito? Ay, pati si Jello, I think in the UST preview, siya yung pinili ko, preseason preview, siya yung pinili ko na the guy to look out for UST. But I think like just worth shouting out, mapapansin mo, I was watching one of the UST games, nakita ko si Moore Alaw and I completely forgot about Moore Alaw. Mapapansin mo, marami actually transferees sa UST na guys that used to play for another UAAP team. So guys like Moore Alaw, si
I forgot
Galman.
about that. I forgot about that, si Alaw. I forgot
si
about that.
Galman from
Eman
LaSalle,
Galman,
I think.
who used to play from LaSalle. Si Michael
Yes.
Mara, who used to play
Mara.
for Benild.
So these guys are like solid players from their previous team. So maybe they finally crack the rotation for UST, and I think Pinoy Liga is a good way to test that out, 'di ba? The preseason is a good way for them to prove themselves. So curious ako kung sino pa ma-add nila dun sa lineup nila. But the one guy that I feel like can really be a star for UST, si Jello Crisostomo. I like the way he plays. Hopefully he does develop a consistent 3-point shot, as Maui mentioned.
Yeah, I get the Jello Crisostomo hype, and I do want him to. I do want to see him expand his game. But y'all guys are sleeping on two players that I think we should watch for in the Pinoyliga Cup. One is their biggest recruit announcement, Koji Benaflor, because I think
Top five high school player.
yeah, and I think Koji Benaflor can give Jello Crisostomo a run for that starting spot in a power forward. There's no Christian Manaytay, so there's wide open minutes at power forward for UST. Now, it's based on their rotation from last season. I think that's Jello Crisostomo's to lose, but I think Koji Benaflor is really, really good. He was a very good get for UST. Not only is he a very talented player, but he addresses a position of need for UST. UST lacks bigs. And Buenaflor is 6'7", can defend multiple positions, can handle the basketball, can run the floor. I think he's a star in the making for UST. And I think there are minutes available for him right off the bat. I want to see him in the Pinoy Liga Cup. Again, the lineups are still in flux right now, but he's already confirmed for the UST Seniors Division. He will be playing in Season 88. I want to see him. I want to see him fare in the Seniors Division. Sam, sige, go ahead.
No, by the way, I was gonna say huge win for USD because they lost Doy Dungo. Their big recruit from their juniors team last year to LaSalle. So the fact that they got Koji Buenaflor, who's like one of the top high school recruits this season, big win for USD. So I love that pick, Gab.
Yep. Again, I think there's star potential here in Koji Buenaflor. The other guy that I think you guys are sleeping on is Mark Lemit. I think
who was absent last preseason. Did not even play.
Nanggulat lang when comes season 87, di na lang, wow, he's here. And he's totally different. And in the Invitational Cup, he played really well. I think it's only his third season. I think he can elevate his game further. We saw him take leaps in his game from his rookie season into his sophomore season. Essentially transformed himself into a guard. I could not believe what I was seeing from Mark Lemit in season 87. I think he has room to grow. I really do think that. I think he can definitely handle the ball more. He's already shown that he's a capable shooter. He's Pido's favorite to put on opposing guards already.
Two-way. I was gonna say two-way.
One of his top defenders.
Yep, he's a two-way presence. I think he has that attitude also that Coach Pido likes. You know,
he's a Pido guy. Like, he's a Pido guy through and through.
Diba? He's a typical, pag nakita mo siya maglaro, alam mo talaga, kaya siya yung gusto yung ni Coach Pido.
Pang
classic wing.
Classic Pido Harencio player.
Oh, tapos may attitude din siya. Alam mo yun? Doesn't give no shit on the floor. Kahit sino bantay niya. He'll be very physical. He'll throw some elbows here and there. Hawakan ka niya and all that. So, but again, I do think he has room to grow. I like how he's developed so far in the seniors division. Very underrated how much he has developed this game and how much he has transformed this game from his juniors days. So those are the two guys that I think that I'm definitely watching. Aside from that, backup center. They need a big. Can Zayn Mahmood actually, live up to the preseason hype that he was getting from last year? It's so far it's Peter Osang, but they need someone else. I mean, Peter Osang is no Motongkara. So there will be minutes available for a backup center. I don't think Eko Laure is gonna be the answer. I think USD fans are praying that Eko Laure is not the answer. So they're praying for someone else to actually elevate their game and actually be capable to play rotation minutes. Whether that's Zayn Mahmood, their other projects, si Brix Versosa, can he actually show some promise? There's another guy from their juniors division, yung best friend ni Koji Benflor, I forgot his name, si Alfred Loretta ba yun? Or something. Yeah, the guy who had brain surgery for macroadenoma. So he's committed to UST. He's 6'7". He's another big. So that's another thing I'm looking forward to for UST. Anything else, Mawin Sam?
By the way, I just checked yung Pinoy Liga Facebook page. They just posted yung first lineup ng UP. So it's the Francis Lopez lineup that's going to play tomorrow against Benild. So watch out for that one.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're gonna see some Francis Lopez tomorrow. So that's it. That's it for our Pinoy Liga preview. Again, the Pinoy Liga Collegiate Cup starts tomorrow, April 26. UP and NU are in action along with St. Benilde and the Guangming College. We'll definitely be watching, especially that UP game. I think that's going to be very interesting. And of course, we are on FSA watch for the NU Bulldogs. Will Collins Akowe make an appearance? Or will it still be Omar Jan? Who knows? Lots of things to watch out for in the Pinoy Liga Cup. Shout out to Benny again for organizing this, doing a great job with the Pinoy Liga Cup. We'll see you in our next episode. There's a ton of UAAP news that we'll be covering. Some shock exits from some UAAP schools, some big recruits. We'll see you then. Bye, guys.